Hey class, Mr. Tatum here again, Digital Media. This is week 6, lesson 17, adding shadows. We just finished up lesson 16 for week 6 also, but this is our next lesson. So what we're going to do is we're going to create shadows on objects that don't normally have shadows or that didn't come with a shadow. Um, Pretty straightforward process. It's a step-by-step process, so you will need to follow closely. You can always pause the video, rewind the video, repeat it as many times as necessary. Shoot me an email, post a message or a question in Classroom for me to answer if there's some part of it or aspect that you're not getting, and I will answer those questions for you. But we're going to create this video. If you'll follow along, we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to select an object. So we're going to make it easy. We're going to do a can. In our case, we're going to use a Coca-Cola can. So we're going to select us a Coca-Cola can. So I select Coca-Cola can. You don't have to put the hyphen between Coca-Cola if you don't want to. You see we get plenty of cans that pop up here without that. I am going to select images only. So we get more cans here. We're going to make this easy on ourselves. I don't want to have to delete out the background on these and make a transparent background around just the can because that's all I want is just the can. So just like in lesson 16 and several of our previous lessons, we're going to just filter that. So we're going to come over here to Tools and then do the drop down from Color and select Transparent. Tools, Color, Transparent. And hopefully that's going to give us only the cans that have transparent backgrounds. So with that, I like that can there. Let's try that one. That'll work. Nope, it will not work. Why not? This can is transparent, indicative of the uh, checkered background around the edge, but up next to the can itself, you can see I've got some white space, which is not transparent. So that one will not work for us. So no big deal. We're just going to cancel that one and select a different one. Let's move over one. Let's try that one. One to the left, and that one appears like it'll work. All checkerboarded background, which shows that it is transparent. And we are good to go. So we are going to right click on that image and copy the image address. We're going to make this easy on us. You can download the image and then upload it into Pixlr if you want to, but like I said, I want to make it easy. So I'm just going to copy the image address. And with that done, I'm going to go over here to my editor, pixlr.com, select Advanced Pixlr E. Once that comes up, we're going to go over here to Create New. So I'm going to select Create New. By default, we get the Full HD 1920 by 1080 selection, which is what we're going to select. The only change we're going to make here is over here by the background. Notice that the radial is not checked. We're going to click that to turn it on for a background. By default, the white is selected, and that is perfect. That is exactly what we want. We're going to select Create. Now remember, at any point here, you can pause, rewind to go through this video. So now we have our empty canvas with our white background as layer 1. So we're going to import our Coca-Cola can as layer 2 because I don't want it on my background. So in order to do that, we're going to make it easy on ourselves again. I'm going to go up here to the Layer tab and add URL as a layer. So I've copied the layer address, and now I'm going to add that URL as a layer. So I'm going to select Add URL as a layer, and now I'm going to paste Control V that image location in there, and then select Load. And it should come up and give me my can just like that. So there we go. There is the can. Okay. So notice over here we got a big long name for our layer. I'm going to right click over there on that and I'm going to rename that big long thing. I'm just going to put original can. Make it nice and easy. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I do want to make a duplicate layer with that. So while I'm still in here, I'm going to take that after I've typed in original can and I'm going to click down here to duplicate that layer. And now I've got two of the same one. So I'm going to go up here to where it says original can copy now. I'm going to right click and I'm going to change that and just type in can. That's all it's going to be. It's just going to be the can. And when I'm done, I'm going to click off of it somewhere and close it. So now I've got can, original can, and then layer one, which is my background layer. I don't want the original, I don't want the can layer, the very top layer right now. So I'm going to uncheck that visibility so that I don't even see it. Now it was put on top of the original can, so I really didn't see it anyways. But now when I do manipulations to the original can, I won't have the can on top of it, which is what I would have had if I had kept it visible. So we uncheck that. So now anything I do, I'm working with the can itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer here. So I'm going to click my plus, which is going to add the layer. And I just want an empty layer. So I'm going to click it. It puts it up here at the top. I'm going to drag that layer down between the can and the original can. Okay? Between the can and the original can. Just grab it, drag it down. That's all you got to do. Okay? So now we're fixing to start the basis of our shadow. So I'm going to select my original can. And there it is. There's my original can. So I'm going to turn this can black, just solid black. And in order to do that, I've selected that one only. And I'm going to go up here to adjustments and brightness and contrast. Oh, wait. No, that's correct. And I'm going to turn my brightness all the way down. Okay. And then I'm going to turn my contrast all the way down. Okay. So there we have my can without any color. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to take an outline of this can. So I'm still on my original can. I'm going to come over here to my magic wand. Okay. And then I'm going to click over here in the center of that can. And hopefully, if it works correctly, the magic wand is going to select the entire outside of that can, which is what we want. Okay. So if that happened that way, that's perfect. If it didn't, you may need to edit undo a couple of times and repeat that process. But hopefully it worked the first time for you. So once you have it like this, you got the little selection line on the outside. Now I'm going to go over here to my layers, and I am going to hide that layer, the original can layer. So I'm going to click on the check mark that says visible. And all I should be left with now is just the outline of that can that I just selected. From there, I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to select on layer 4. Now I have nothing on layer 4. It's just a blank layer. So what we're going to do to create our shadow is we're going to use the gradient tool and fill in this outline with a gradiated color change. So we're going to go over here. Here's our gradient tool. We're going to select that. I should be white and black here. Okay, so the way the gradient tool works is we're going to pick a point just outside that line, outside our line, and I'm going to click and hold, left click and hold, and drag a line down to the bottom of the can, just to the bottom. Okay, and then I'll let go. And notice it fills the can in, and it starts out as a light gray, and it goes darker, darker, darker until it gets all the way black. Okay. Now, if you do yours and you don't like the way it looks, you can always go to Edit, Undo, and I can change that. I can start a little higher and go a little to the midpoint so that I don't get as much change. I can go just to the tip here, and it would do the entire thing as black. So you can change up how your shadow looks by just changing how far you drag, where you start and stop your gradient tool. So you can play with that to get it the way you want it to look. Okay, but however you find it and do that's going to be okay. Just know that you have an option there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to turn on our can. So we're going to go back over here to our layers, select on our can, and turn it back on. So now we're back over here. We've got our can turned back on. So we've hidden our shadow base basically. Okay. So what we're going to do now is select layer 4, and we're going to right click, and we're going to rename that to shadow. Okay. So we're still going to leave our original can unchecked. We don't need it anymore. I'm going to remove this history so I can see all my layers here nice and easy. So here's my can. Here's my shadow. Original can is unchecked, so I don't see it. It's invisible right now. And then my white background. So I want to be on my shadow layer. So select it, make sure it's lit up. Now I need to do something to show the shadow. So what we're going to do is go into Edit and Free Transform. Edit, Free Transform. So when I click on that, notice I get my handles up here. Make sure you're on the shadow layer. And what we're going to do is you're going to move these top two handles, this one and this one. And because it's a free transform, we can move them individually. Now, to make it look right, you're going to want to keep this top line here. Whenever we move one, we're going to keep it as a straight line across. So if I take this one, I'm going to grab it. Oops. So let's cancel that. Cancel that. Sorry. Free distort, not free transform. I forget they've changed that now. That's one of the switches in Pixlr from Photoshop. It's distort in Pixlr. Sorry. So we want to go to Edit. Edit and Free Distort, or Control K. So we're going to select Edit, Free Distort. We're going to select that point, and looky there. We're going to pull that way over here somewhere. Okay. Now what I need to do is grab the other one up here. And remember I said we needed to keep them straight across from each other. Sorry, my eye was itching there. So I'm going to do that. And that's not exactly, try to get it as level across there as possible. Like so. So we've created our shadow. Now, the one thing that we can do to make the shadow look a little more realistic is we're going to add a little bit of a blur to it. A little bit of a blur. So we still should be on the shadow. We're going to have to click apply so that our free distort takes effect. So there's my shadow. I'm still on the shadow layer. I'm going to go to adjustment now. Where is my blur tool? Okay, so it's under filter. So we're going to go to filter now, details, and we're going to do the Gaussian blur. So not under adjustments anymore. They've moved it. This isn't a new one. So it's under filter, details, Gaussian blur. Okay. So we want to blur this about 20. Now notice here how it just blurred around the edges ever so slightly to make it look like it's kind of fading in and out like it would if there was actually like a light or sun shining on it. The edges are no longer crisp like they were just a minute ago before I did a little blur to it. And that's the way we want it. You could play with that number a little bit. You can add a little more blur to it or a little less. It looks like 20, 25 looks pretty good, 30, somewhere in there. So you can play with it till you get it to look the way you want it to. So each person's idea of the how it should look is a little different. So, but it's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood. I'll leave mine here at 30, and then I'm going to click apply, and then click off of there. And now you can see the final copy, the final version here. There's my can with my shadow that's attached to it. Okay, so you can save this and upload that image to your Google Classroom. Again, the easiest way here, take a screen capture. So Windows Shift S, and I can capture this whole thing is what I'm wanting to see here. As soon as that goes away, it snipped it to my clipboard. So what I'm wanting to see here is I want to see your can with the shadow and your layers where you've done the work. Okay. So once you've done that, then you can hop back over here to your digital media, Mr. Tatum slideshow. And I can come down here, add a new one. We're going to change this up a little bit here. Move that to there. So I'm going to paste my image in here. Week 6, lesson 17. Shadows. So there you go. Then I can share, copy that link, paste that into the lesson 17. And I am done because now I've got my image in here. It's got my picture and it shows my layers that I used. And now when Mr. Tatum grades it, he can go shadow, check. Image of the can, check. 4 layers, check. Original can is unchecked. and can, shadow, and layer 1. Everything's labeled correctly. Check, check, check. And I get a good grade for the week from Mr. Tatum. Any questions? You can shoot me an email, post in the classroom. Um, Hopefully not, but if you do, I'll be more than happy to help you answer those. Uh, Good luck this week, and let me know if you need anything.